Hello everyone, we're back on 3D Print Lab. Today we're going to be printing none other than the 3D Print Lab logo itself as a business card holder. First off, we're going to be designing it. And here we have a couple parts of the text that we imported in to get the text part. KCA, KippurCatArts. Here we see the Illustrator file that has all the components of the logo itself. And I'm just going to make sure to combine this main, I guess it would be, in printer terms, that would be the thermistor block and the nozzle, which is the main part of the logo. Make sure to get the real white text and the little shine on the nozzle, so we can import those as well. Now we're going to need to save it off as an Illustrator 3 and import it into 3ds Max. I'm going to import everything as a spline, multiple splines. Now we're just going to extrude stuff off. I think I did about 10 millimeters, 10 or 20 millimeters for most things. We're also going to need to make the text, and we're going to need two sets of text. We're going to need one set of text to make the hole, and we're going to need the other set of text to lay into the hole. And so the way it works is that in Illustrator, I found that if you make text or any object, and you make it anywhere from 1 to 1.5 points, if you do a stroke on the object, and then you outline stroke, that slightly bigger object will make a hole that your text will just fit nicely into. I like to do a little bit bigger, and then just glue it, and so that way I don't have to worry about the text not fitting. But for sure, if you take text and you cut a hole out of an object and you try to shove that text down into that hole, you're gonna need like a bench press, like a shop press, 1000 psi to like shove it in there. And by the time you do that, you probably smash the whole thing to all hell. So really, tolerance is a big issue. I found that it's not that hard to deal with. You just gotta know how. And really, using Illustrator, using point stroke, is the easiest way to deal with the tolerance issue. So we're just going to add the spool to the top right, just like the logo. And we're also going to add the filament strand. So we're just going to extrude it. Extrude it off, and we're going to try to turbo smooth it in order to get it round, but that's going to totally screw it up. So now we're going to tessellate it first, which will add more faces to it. Then we're going to turbo smooth it, and that should give us a much better outcome. It's nice and round now. Just don't want something that will break though, so it's got to be super thick. It looks pretty round to me. I'm just going to take that, put it up with the rest of the stuff. And the thing about this is that it is going to need to be supported, because it's not going to be touching the build plate. So we just got to make sure to get it in the right spot there. Now we're going to cut out the holes for the text and the shine on these nozzle. And we're also going to be supporting the spools with some toothpick support. And we're going to bring in some more splines. We're going to bring in the little 3D Print Lab logo. And a little bit of a jump cut there We got it all extruded and built onto a platform that we'll be using. And it's going to be an orange on white. The main part of it is going to be white, and the text is going to be white. And so now we're just going to make a box that is roughly the same width as the nozzle. And we're just going to go ahead and make sure it's thin enough. And then we're just going to boolean out a hole. Make sure that is actually thinner. And then we're going to boolean the nozzle hole out of it. And that'll give us a nice impression of something that we'll be able to fit, a hole that we'll be able to fit the nozzle into in order to create the top of the business card holder. And we're just going to make a block for everything to go onto, a base, and a little bit of a cut here. Got it mostly together. And we're just going to add a little slot for the business cards to go in. We're going to bring it into Thingiverse and see if it's going to print. We're going to make it a little bit thinner, and I'm glad I did make it thinner because it would have been way too thick. Although it only holds about 5 or 6 cards. But you can put about 50 cards in the middle part. So it actually worked out quite well. And then we're just going to use some obelisk and toothpick support to support all the overhangs to the best of our ability. And I'm just going to add some raft to these obelisks on the sides, and then just mirror it. There we go. And we're going to go to production. So now I'm going to be taking it out. It's all complete. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. But we're not going to print it that way, of course. I'm going to extrude or slice this extruded piece. This will be the main portion of the logo, the orange portion. You see it printing out. You see all the little supports supporting it and supporting the spool. And then we're going to print out in orange the 3D Print Lab text and the little surrounding box. And then we're going to print out the KippurCatArts and the nozzle shine. It's a separate build. It was a pretty quick build. And then we're going to print out the main body of the card holder. It has a spot for the orange text and a spot for the nozzle to fit into. This one took quite a while. You can see that the supports do a really good job of supporting any overhangs. There's no real unaccounted overhangs. There's no stringy issues anywhere. I did try printing this at 200 Celsius and it didn't seem to stick to the raft, so I had to go up to 210. It seemed to work better. You don't want to go too hot though, because then you start scorching the PLA. Now I'm going to go to assembly. So here it is with the text glued onto the front of it, and then there's the top part, and it just snaps right on the top. Doesn't even need glue. And there you go. Ready for business. Oop, it does fall over quite easy, but I'll probably end up just leaning it against something. Or I could add a little like wheelie bar on the back or something. Well, that's easy to add. So you can put them in the front, or you can put them in the middle. Either way, it works. And here's a close-up shot of the top part and the text. And side view of the side. And there's a bunch of cards in there. There's another shot of the card on the top holder. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment, like, whatever's comfortable. And if you haven't seen it yet, I invite you. to go and watch the introduction. It explains the series. The last episode was the Revenant. The Empire of Two Towers is great, and the Colt 1911, it's a life-size handgun. Check it out.